Thank you, Mo. Happy to be here. Like I said, I don't think I've ever missed so many punchlines in my life. Sounds like there were some good ones. There were some really good ones there. So, like Mo said, I'm with Poppy Bank. I specialize in small business lending. I'm sure many of you have heard of the SBA loan program. It's one of the government, what they call government guaranteed programs. So, my goal tonight, after meeting with Mo, is just kind of maybe take a little bit of mystery out of it. There's a lot of confusion about how it kind of works, and teach you a little bit about the history of the program too. So it was started in 1953, the Small Business Administration, as a way to motivate banks to make loans that maybe they otherwise quite simply would not have been able to. We run a fine line. We're regulated. We want to make loans, but we have a highly regulated industry, so the government is wanting to make sure that you're making the right kinds of loans so it lasts a long time and everybody works. There's been some very famous SBA borrowers, Under Armour, Apple, Ben & Jerry's, Nike, FedEx. The third location that was ever done by Chipotle was funded with an SBA loan. So it's a very interesting program. You as taxpayers, you can also feel good because it doesn't cost you anything. The fees totally support the program. They cover the bad debt, they cover the government workers, everything. So it's a net no cost to you as a taxpayer, and that's not counting what it creates in businesses from employment taxes, sales taxes, etc. It's one of the government programs, however you feel about government, big government, small government, it's one of the programs that really does very, very well, and it's mutually beneficial. Now on the SBA loans, you have SBA loans and you have conventional loans. There are different rules and underwriting criteria for both. So the SBA, having that as a guarantee or a partial guarantee of the loan is what we have as the bank, allows us to do things that otherwise we might not be able to do, which would be a very long term, like 25 years fully amortized, 30 years fully amortized, no call dates coming due. Lower down payment for multi-purpose collateral. We can do loans as low as 10% down payment, which compared to most conventional financing might be more like 30 or 40% down. When things were really bad, then you really had to make some big down payments. So the way the program works, we make the loan. If something goes wrong with the loan, there's a partial guarantee from the government that if we've done our job perfectly, we can get back some of our money. So it just lessens our risk. Maybe we might retain 1/4% of the 25%, and the government has the other 75 if something goes wrong. There's two different types of SBA programs. This confuses a lot of people. You have the SBA 7A loan. That's a single loan from me, the bank, that we make, and it happens to be 75% guaranteed by the government. The other loan is called an SBA 504 loan, and we do a 50% first, and then the SBA, in essence, does like a 35 or 40% loan behind us. So on both those scenarios, we have less risk in the first one. Obviously, we do our job right. There's a partial guarantee there. And on the second one, we have a 50% loan to value first, which is pretty low risk. I hear a lot of you folks are in mortgages, and the SBA loan goes behind us. Now, the beauty of that program is, most businesses are making lease payments and, in essence, making somebody else's mortgage payment. So it's a great way for you to own your own building, pay the rent to yourself. Many of my borrowers, they own it individually and then lease it to their companies, so there's benefits in that by receiving your income as a rental income versus just taking it out as a salary. And I've been doing this since 1990. So Mo asked me to share some success stories, but some of the really great success stories that I find are folks that I made loans to, and in the early 90s have now paid off their building, and in many cases they've sold their businesses and are now the landlord from the building that they acquired, and instead of paying rent to somebody else, they were paying it to themselves. So it's a win-win program. I don't know if I'll be around another 30 years to see any more, but probably not. The fees on the SBA loan, it ends up being about 3.5% of 75%. So call it about 2.5%. That's probably a little bit larger than most commercial loans, but keep in mind there's no call date, so you're not having to redo the loan every 5 years or 7 years. It's fully amortized. So if you figure you paid 1% on a new loan fee, and you do that every 5 to 7 years, and you pay the appraisal fee and you pay the title cost, it's actually very cost effective, even at the 2.5%. Pretty much the maximum loan you can get on a 7A loan is $5 million. And you could have a loan of 2.5 and another loan of 2.5, but to get to the 5. On the 504 loan, that as well is a maximum of $5 million, but that's the SBA portion. So I'm working on a couple motel deals now where they're like $20 million projects. People are putting in about $4 to $5 million. We'll do a $10, $11 million loan, and then the SBA does a loan behind us. So you get to the net financing of 15, $16 million. So we can handle some pretty big ones. The SBA program also allows us to do loans in maybe industries where, because it's unusual collateral, like we were talking about, Miguel, a lot of banks, if it's a special purpose collateral, RV park, a golf course, a motel, a gas station, etc., because it's unusual collateral, it's considered special purpose. So the risk, if something does go wrong, is you don't have as many ways to get out of it, for lack of better terminology. So a lot of banks just frankly won't do those loans. I've been with many banks where there's we don't want to do motels, and our bank, gosh, it's probably about 80% of what I do. So it helps you just be able to make loans in industries that otherwise you might not be able to. As far as the underwriting goes, kind of like what are we looking for? We're looking for the ability to make the payment back, debt service coverage ratios. I would say it's maybe we can be a little bit more creative on the underwriting because our risk is a little bit less because of the partial guarantee. On the 7A loan, which is just a single loan from the bank, we do all the underwriting. We're what's called preferred lenders, so we've done so many loans that they trust us with the underwriting process. It does not go to the SBA for their concurrence. On the 504 loan, we do a bank first, and the SBA does a second, then it's underwritten by us and the SBA. So I like to promote certainty of outcome. Is what I really try to do. Is if I'm controlling the underwriting or my bank, I kind of know what we can and can't do, and I know it very early in the process because I'm sure we've all wasted time trying to get loans, either in business or home loans or whatever. And there's not many things more frustrating than putting all the information together and finding out we can't do it, which it's really not that great of a mystery. I've never thought lending was. Probably one reason why I'm at least decent at it. On the SBA 7A loan, that usually floats against prime and is adjusted quarterly if the prime moves. Now prime was at 3.25 for like 8 years until the most recent administration change, and now it's gone from 3.25 to 5.25, which can be concerning, which I totally understand. On the SBA 504 loan, it's fixed for 20 years at pretty aggressive rates. It just has a 10-year prepayment penalty. So if you're in it, it's kind of hard to get out of it. Sometimes people want to sell things without having to go through that. As far as personal guarantees, they are always required by the SBA. Period. If you own more than 20% of the company, you will sign a personal guarantee for that. It's, what they call non-recourse lending is actually pretty uncommon nowadays. So they do ask you to be the guarantor. Uses of money, we do it primarily for real estate, for people to acquire their own buildings or to finance real estate in maybe special purpose criteria. Some lenders will do SBA financing for acquiring businesses, buying out partners, etc. So you can use it for that program. I have all my cards over there. Feel free to call me if you have anything that's kind of along that realm, and we can refer you from there. That is about it. I hope I was able to make the two loans make sense. And I'd love to take questions, real world questions is fine.
Did you say SBA loan is a recourse loan or a non-recourse loan?
It is a recourse loan, so yeah, they'll always require.
Plus they go after.
Plus your personal guarantee, yeah, if you own 20%, correct.
Do you cover construction loans as well?
Yes, we can do. What we do is we'll do the construction and the permanent takeout. And what we usually like to do is we'll do one loan, and the first 12 months or so will just be interest reserve, and then it will immediately roll into the permanent financing. Usually don't do construction just on its own unless we have the permanent loan. So yeah, I do. So I've got two really big motel deals going right now where we're doing the construction financing. Have any of you had any SBA loans in here? Okay. How was the experience? Pretty good?
Yeah, I know 6%. Paid it over 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, the rate was, the fees were about 2.25.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe it's if it's a little smaller loan, it's a
It was
little less fees.
2011.
Okay.
We paid it up in 3 years.
Oh, good deal.
Yeah, that was great.
And it helps to kind of fill the niche that might have been
Yeah.
difficult.
Exactly. So I want to ask about the rates actually. The rates are.
Yeah, so prime is 5 1/4 now. So on a 7A loan, we can, without pushing too hard, we can be at like maybe 6 3/4 prime plus 1.5. Yeah, on the fixed rate, we would probably be in like the low 6s, fixed for 5, and then with that's what we do on the 504 loan. Then the SBA behind us, and the SBA currently, I think it's kind of in the middle 5s. It's fixed for 20. That's a great program.
And due in 20.
Fully amortized, yeah, no call date. Yeah. And ours would reset every 5 years, pretty common on our note.
Is SBA loan available for non-profit organizations?
It is not. You have to be for profit.
Let me add something else
Sure.
to what you said. میخوام فارسی بگم صحبت‌های کبر رو شنیدید. There is something on top of it I think it's good to know about the Puffy Bank. They are C and B paper. When you have excellent credit, a lot of money to put down, you can go to anybody. وقتی پول کافی داشته باشین و کردیتتون هم خیلی خوب باشه، هر جا برین طبیعتاً بهتون وام میده. اگه مشکلی داشته باشین توی کردیت هیستوریتون یا اینکه زمانی گرفتار مسائلی شده باشین که کردیتتون افیت کرده باشه, if you have some problem or some dent on your credit, that's called CMB paper. I think you guys are a good source for it.
Yes.
And on top of
I was
it,
making sure you weren't, making sure he wasn't saying things I could do that I couldn't. Just kidding.
بعد یه خصوصیت دیگه ای که اینها دارن اینه که the loan committee they get together once a week و اونجا وقتی که جمع میشن برای لونا the decision maker is sitting there in their committee and the guy who is sitting there he owns 62% of the bank. کسی که اونجا نشسته 62% بانک مال خودشه و طبیعتاً it makes the decision making much easier.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, we I'm sorry, go ahead.
Uh, بانک معمولی هم از normal bank, you can have your saving, you can have your checking account, personal saving or whatever. And the rate is very good. You have the rate sheet over there if you can grab. من فقط خواستم که اینو خدمتتون اضافه کنم که این بانک هایی که در این حد هستن معمولا آدم زودتر نتیجه کارشو متوجه میشه تا بانک هایی که خیلی پروسس داره و کمیته های مختلف داره و قشرهای مختلف باید تصمیم گیری داره. I will just explain about your system and how quick you can make a decision because your committee is there, the owner of the bank is there, and you guys have a lot of experience. When you put the paper together, you have a feeling that it's doable or not.
Yes.
In this case, وقت تلف کردن, wasting time is almost close to none.
My mantra is if I'm wasting your time, then I've kind of wasted mine as well. So ideally, what I love to do, working on a loan right now where someone's contemplating buying their auto dealership location, not in contract. It's like, I think I can buy it at about this. Okay, well, let me look at your financials and everything, and then, oh yeah, that looks like it makes sense. So now go make your best deal. And like Mo was saying, so it comes through me, and I've done enough. Know it's about a 99% certainty if it will fit. And then our system is set up maybe a little bit different, where I'll get enough information, and like I said, our loan committee's there every Tuesday. So we kind of run up the flagpole to make sure it kind of fits. And yeah, one gentleman owns 62% of our bank, so if he likes it, then they tend to get approved. So, but you know that out of the gate, whereas I'm sure we've all heard stories where, gee, I think we can do it, give me $10,000 for the appraisal, I'll order the appraisal, 60 days later, do it. So everybody loses.
They can remove the prepayment penalty on these loans or no?
No. On the SBA 7A, I didn't mention that. That's a 3-year prepay of 531, which is actually, that's very short in commercial lending. The SBA, it's a 10-year, it declines every year for 10. So, no.
10 on 20.
It's 20-year note, and then it goes 7 times the interest rate. So it's not quite a full 10% prepay, but it's the 10-year.
I just want to make sure, SBA, is it merely just, it's for the real estate purchase, or for a new business also would they do that if they're leasing a place?
Yes, those SBA, that financing is available. We kind of specialize in the real estate secured more than like opening businesses, et cetera, because there's only so much you all got to find kind of your niche, you know. But it can be used to refinance existing debt. We can do that, as well as acquire buildings, improve buildings, ground up construction, et
You
cetera.
have to be 51% occupied. The property that you're doing your business.
Yes.
Your business.
Yes, thanks for bringing that up. Yes, so you as the business owner, you would need to be in at least 51% of the square feet, and then you can lease out 49%. So it's not for, and the reason for that is so they're not trying to make it an investment vehicle. It's a way to help business acquire real estate for their business.
To answer your question, SBA is for business and property. You can. For
Yes,
both.
there are multiple uses for it, just not every bank does.
But you
everything.
only do the real estate.
I focus on the real estate, yes, refinancing, building, etc.
Collateral. The real estate is the collateral, right?
Yes.
Without that, you can't do it.
I kind of don't I kind of move in more in the real estate secured, yeah. Yeah, there are some banks that might do the smaller deals and working capital. We just don't. We're not underestimating.
May I just ask how long the whole process will take?
Okay, thanks for asking that. For someone who's highly organized, which they say, here's what I want to do, and I say, give me your 3 years tax return, your financial statement, your income statement, etc. And I from the time I have that full, then I would say 60 days is everybody moving pretty quick. 45 days is me getting everybody mad at me at the bank, but I've done it. And then 90 days is reasonable, gee, I need this, I need that. My underwriter has a couple questions. So I would say 90 is leisurely, 90 days. 60 is everybody moving pretty quickly. 45 is kind of warp speed because you've got to get the appraisal and get the appraisal 3 to 4 week process. Yeah, you're welcome.
خیلی متشکرم. خیلی متشکرم. Thank you everybody. Thank you Kevin.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So who wants to say something?
I just wanted to say something. Thank you, Kevin, for your presentation.
Oh, you're welcome.
Regardless of your lending needs, we want to bring support to your community. And please feel free to reach out to Kevin or myself. And even if it's a small loan, we'll be more than happy to point you out in the right direction. We're so connected to other banks and we kind of know what everybody's doing out there. So even if it's not a good fit for us, we'll be more than happy to save you the time. Because shopping for these loans can be a nightmare, time consuming and disappointing because you may run into one of these lenders who is going to waste your time, and a month later or 2 months later you're going to find out that they're not going to be able to do it. So we're more than happy to help you out find the right fit. But if it fits in our category, we'll do it well. Thank you.
ممنون از آقای دکتر امیدی و مگی جون برای اسپانسرشیپ امشبشون. شامو چون جا نبوده توی اون قسمت بیرون گذاشتن که میتونیم اونجا بریم شام بکشیم بیایم اینجا بشیم دور هم بخوریم. بازم تشکر میکنم از لطفتون. سخنران جلسه دسامبرمون اولین چهارشنبه دسامبر آقای بهزیز هستن، در مورد تکس و قوانین جدید صحبت میکنن که میدونیم برای هممون جدیده. We're gonna have about the tax and new laws in our December meeting. خواهش میکنم که نظرات خودتون، انتقادات خودتون، راهنماییات خودتون رو از ما دریغ نکنید و امیدوارم که بتونیم در این چارچوبی که شروع کردیم خدمت ارزنده‌ای به جامعه کامیونیتی که جامعه خودمون که من همیشه فکر کنم ما به کامیونیتی خودمون و جامعه‌ای که در زندگی میکنیم بدهکاریم و از مسیر این اطلاعاتی که در اختیار داریم و اطلاعاتی که میتونیم از دیگران بگیریم امیدوارم که بتونیم کمکی باشیم برای همه دوستان. بازم تشکر میکنم. شام حاضر فکر کنم آقای بابایی.
من میخواستم قبل از اینکه همه پراکندشن برای علی آقا تشکر کنم که و خانمشون مریم. علی آقا خودشون مهندس کامپیوتر هستن، کار کامپیوتری انجام میدن و خانمشون مریم هم میا پیکسل، اونر میا پیکسل هستن. با جنراسیتی تمام این جلسه سوم همیشه تشریف میارن و تمام این لحظه ها رو برای ما ضبط میکنن که میدونین این واقعا پر ارزشن، چون این لحظه ها میره و ما فراموش میکنیم ولی برای ما داکیومنت میکنن، روی وبسایت میذارن، زحمت میکشن، ادیت میکنن، درست میکنن و روی وبسایت ما میذارن که forever همه میتونن مراجعه بکنن و 2 مرتبه این سخنان رو گوش بدن و واقعا از تو ممنونیم. خیلی ممنون که این وقت رو برای ما میذارید.
متشکرم. سایت ما یادتون باشه که کالیفرنیا BOMB.California هر کدومو که سرچ بکنین به همون سایت منتهی میشه، ولی اسمش هست BOMB.California. هر نام دیگه‌ای که یادتون نیامد هم سرچ بکنین به همون سایت ختم میشه و امیدوارم ظرف چند روز آینده لانچ بکنیم و طریق ایمیل به همه دوستان اطلاع میدیم که بتونن از سایت بازدید بکنن. بازم تشکر میکنم از آقای بابایی و آقای حمیدی و خانم مگی به خاطر اسپانسرشیپ امشبشون. متشکرم.